I said I'm a conversationalist. But what people are upset about is that for some reason people come to me and I don't look at them with judgy eyes. I have no predetermined notion or preconceived notions, and they open up to me.
Right.
That's what they're upset about. Because if you look at a lot of these people that's been on other podcasts, they don't do the views that they do when they come on Club Shay Shay.
Being a celebrity always has its challenges, and Shannon Sharpe is experiencing just how rough the industry can be. It's interesting because Katt Williams saw this coming a few months back. Shannon's podcast, Club Shay Shay, has been doing really well, getting lots of listeners. However, not everyone is happy about his success. Recently, Shannon talked about how many celebrities are trying to cancel his show and bring him down. They've even made threats, and some guests who were excited to be on his show have suddenly canceled without any explanation.
I didn't know it was gonna cause this kind of ripple. I didn't think it was gonna move me in the direction. I'm glad it did. I understand what comes along.
We always knew the industry could be rough. But what's happening with Shannon is on a whole new level. There are even rumors that Shannon's life could be at risk because of all the hostility. In a recent interview, Shannon opened up about the troubling challenges he's faced since his viral Katt Williams interview earlier this year. While talking with Cam Newton, he explained why celebrities feel comfortable sharing their stories on his podcast. Shannon said he always asks his guests if there are any topics they don't want to discuss before each interview. He wants them to feel comfortable and be their true selves.
I said, is there anything that you don't want to talk about? I always ask the guests that. Sometimes they say, well, I would appreciate it if we not talk about this.
Right.
Cool, no problem. Because I believe you can tell your story without saying something negative. But yes, I believe a person that's been in a business, that's been doing something 10, 15, 20, 30 years, are more than one salacious story.
Right.
That's what I believe. So if they say they want to stay away from it, but if they want to tell something, who am I to say, no, don't do, you can't tell that.
Shannon also made it clear that he's not a journalist and has never claimed to be one.
You don't do sit downs, you see what I'm saying?
Kim, I've been trying to line Katt up for a year. I tried to line him up for a year. People don't know this, but Katt doesn't like to fly. I'm getting off the elevator. As I'm getting off the elevator, a lady's getting on.
Right.
She said, hello. I said, hey, how you doing? I'm Shannon Sharpe. She tells me her name. She's like, I've never seen you here before. I said, yeah, my attorney's here, Marvin. She said, oh, I love Marvin. I love Allison, who's his daughter. She said, oh, I said, I've never seen you here. I said, I've been coming here 3-4 years. I've never seen you. She said, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm just not meeting you. She said, today is my last day. I said, what? She said, yeah, today is my last day. I said, you got a new job? She said, I'm leaving to be Katt Williams' tour manager.
Wow.
I say, I've been trying to get Katt for a year. That was a Friday. The next Friday, Katt sitting in that chair.
Look at God.
The next Friday.
For those who might not know, Shannon Sharpe is a very successful retired NFL player who was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2011. After his football career, he became a commentator for CBS Sports pregame show, The NFL Today, including the Sprint halftime report and the Subway post-game show. In 2013, he became a columnist and spokesperson for Fitness RX for Men magazine, and even appeared on its cover. In 2016, he joined Skip Bayless on FS1's sports debate show, Skip and Shannon. Undisputed. Shannon didn't start podcasting just because it was popular. He already had a strong reputation in the industry. Besides Club Shay Shay, he also hosts another podcast called Nightcap with retired NFL player Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson and retired basketball player Gilbert Arenas. However, Club Shay Shay is more popular, especially because of viral interviews with guests like Katt Williams and Steve Harvey. In 2021, his episode with Bubba Wallace was highlighted by Apple Podcasts' editorial team, showing its importance. Shannon Sharpe's journey shows his resilience and knack for connecting with his audience despite the industry's challenges. He launched Club Shay Shay in 2020 during the pandemic, finding a new passion for podcasting after retiring from professional sports. His goal was to create a platform where Black entertainers could share their stories without fear of harsh judgment. As he puts it, he's a conversationalist, not a journalist. Even with his media experience, Shannon wasn't prepared for the huge success his podcast achieved in 2024, largely thanks to Katt Williams. Shannon had been trying to get Katt on the podcast for about a year and finally got a break when he randomly met Katt's new manager, who connected him with the comedian.
People heard about it, but when Katt came on and did what he did, now you had no choice. Advertisers, sponsors had to take Club Shay Shay serious.
Right.
People that did, he just this, he's a dumb jock, he talked with a lisp. But that dumb jock that talked with a lisp has the #1 podcast on YouTube. Not sports podcast, Cam. #1.
A week later, Katt Williams was revealing industry secrets on Club Shay Shay. Initially, Shannon didn't expect the episode to go viral. Up until then, his most viewed episode on YouTube was with Steve Harvey, which had about 8 million views. After filming with Katt, Shannon's producer predicted they were about to hit it big. Shannon thought that even if the episode did better than the Steve Harvey one, it might reach around 10 million views. He was way off. The Katt Williams episode has now far surpassed that, showcasing Shannon's ability to connect with audiences despite industry challenges and controversies. In the episode, Katt even accused Kevin Hart of being an industry plant. He challenged Kevin's narrative about his East Coast upbringing, claiming it was unlikely for Kevin to build his career on the East Coast and then suddenly gain major recognition in LA.
At the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we had Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I've never seen Madea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
Katt questioned Kevin Hart's rapid rise in the industry, suggesting that Kevin seemed to come out of nowhere, quickly landing major gigs and TV roles that took other comedians years to achieve.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them.
Katt attributed Kevin's swift success to being an industry plant and accused him of becoming a gatekeeper, helping other industry plants like Tiffany Haddish rise to fame. Katt didn't hold back, and his harsh critique of Kevin Hart wasn't surprising due to their long-standing feud. In an earlier interview, Katt criticized Kevin for wearing a dress on screen, arguing that the trend of straight black men wearing dresses in media was part of an agenda by industry gatekeepers to emasculate black men. Katt also mentioned that whenever he speaks out, the industry tries to discredit him and portray him as mentally unstable. This pattern seems to be happening to Shannon Sharpe now. When Katt appeared on Shannon's podcast earlier this year, he warned Shannon that making Club Shay Shay a platform for truth-telling would bring hostility. Shannon admitted he didn't expect the extent of the backlash he's now facing. Guests who were eager to be on the show have suddenly canceled. He's receiving hate comments about his interviewing style, and some people are actively trying to cancel him.
But Kim, I didn't know it was gonna cause this kind of ripple. I didn't think it was gonna move me in the direction. I'm glad it did. And some of the comedians had taken shots at other comedians, but nothing like this. I didn't expect the vitriol to come, especially from some of the people, and I'm not gonna say we were friends, but I'm saying we were cordial, we were friendly towards each other. Some people that I've kind of helped behind the scenes, and to see them attack, I wouldn't have let him do this, I wouldn't have said that.
Take D.L. Hewley as an example. Even though Katt didn't criticize him during the Club Shay Shay interview, D.L. Hewley fiercely attacked Katt for his comments about other comedians.
Katt told every goddamn everything. He told so much. Jada Pinkett went, why you telling so goddamn much? What am I gonna say now? At least nobody had alopecia, so. Shay Shay getting messy as hell. Shannon Sharpe is like Wendy Williams with weights in it.
This reaction is puzzling since there was no known conflict between Shannon and D.L. Hughley. So what sparked this? Sources suggest that D.L. Hughley was unhappy with the attention Shannon and Katt received from that interview and decided to undermine it as much as possible. But he's not the only one with such sentiments. Another person allegedly trying to derail Shannon's career is Steve Harvey. Interestingly, Steve had previously appeared on Club Shay Shay, where they discussed various topics from lifestyle to industry insights. It was a typical Club Shay Shay interview, and it went viral mainly because it featured Steve Harvey. Before the Katt Williams interview, the Steve Harvey episode was the podcast's most viewed video. Katt Williams had also accused Steve of stealing his story about being broke and living in his car. This wasn't the first time Katt had called out Steve Harvey. He had previously accused Steve of perpetuating harmful stereotypes about black men. For instance, Katt claimed Steve forced Cedric the Entertainer to wear a dress, promoting a conspiracy in Hollywood to emasculate black men. According to Katt, Steve deliberately ridiculed Cedric because he saw Cedric's potential and didn't want him to surpass him at a New Year's Eve performance.
Because you didn't have to accept this. You could have just said, no, I'm not going to do it. You have been the king of comedy as long as we've had one. Matter of fact, the whole phrase, king of comedy, can be attributed to you. And I am honored that you would allow me to share the same stage as you. And I don't know why people made this a championship bout. And I don't know why you was okay with that. And I want to apologize for what's going to happen.
Who is
But the second that you get on stage, the second that you get off stage, I need you to understand that that's your final time as the king of comedy.
Steve, unwilling to be embarrassed, appeared on Jamie Foxx's satellite radio show to announce that he would rise above and not engage in a petty feud. He shared, "My grandfather used to tell me that dogs don't bark at parked cars. They bark at moving ones. Dogs bark at the moon all the time, but if the moon barks back, the dog becomes famous."
This is on my mind. My closing remarks are going to be seem a little discombobulated, but I haven't really had time to put it together. It's just some thoughts that I've been having. I want to address what's being labeled as comedy beefs. Y'all, comedy was never designed to be this. Comedy is a great art form. It's always been for the best stand-ups to come into people's lives, homes, theaters, and provide just as hard a laughs as we possibly could. As a stand-up, that has always been my only goal. This thing that's going around now about comedy beefs, it's only coming really from a few people. It's really not the overall thing. 85 South ain't beefing with nobody. And those are the youngest comedic giants out there. 85 South ain't beefing with nobody. You know, them cats come from the hip-hop culture. What you're seeing, man, in these comedy beefs are people who aren't where they used to be, and all of a sudden are using this thing called comedy beefs as a way to get some light shined on them. That's not what comedy is, man. It's just not. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not saying any names, but let me explain.
This statement further supported Katt's argument that Steve couldn't compete with him in a comedy battle. However, tension seemed to calm as both moved on in their careers until Katt reignited the conflict with his candid interview. It appears Katt Williams' remarks in that interview really bothered Steve Harvey, who vented extensively on his radio show. Although Steve didn't directly name Katt or Shannon, it was clear who he was referring to. But the drama didn't end there. According to sources, Steve is actively working behind the scenes to dissuade other celebrities from appearing on Club Shay Shay. He's not acting alone. Another influential figure reportedly holding a grudge against Shannon Sharpe is Oprah Winfrey. Oprah's issue with Shannon stems from his decision to host Monique on his podcast, where Monique openly criticized Oprah as a narcissistic manipulator. Monique detailed how both Oprah and Tyler Perry mistreated her and hindered her career because she refused to comply with demands outside her contract.
Because Cookie from the show Empire, I was offered that role. Now Taraji tore it up, baby. Listen here. However, I was offered that. Then Felita called me back and say, baby girl, they said you too difficult to work with. But you hear on the audio that a man told David Talbot I was difficult to work with. Do you see how that cost my family?
Yes.
And with no accountability.
For context, Monique and Oprah have had a long-standing feud. During their collaboration on the movie Precious, Monique refused to participate in an unpaid and unscheduled press tour, which allegedly angered Oprah. This reportedly led to Oprah spreading rumors about Monique being difficult to work with. Shannon himself has not been without controversy, despite Club Shay Shay typically featuring enjoyable interviews where guests have a good time. Some episodes have sparked criticism for Shannon. For instance, he recently faced backlash following his interview with Amanda Seales. During the interview, Amanda talked about living with autism and the challenges she encountered, especially as a Black girl growing up in America. To be fair, Shannon initially came off as confrontational. For example, when Amanda mentioned her mother noticing autism symptoms and how differently her mind worked, Shannon seemed to dismiss her concerns by suggesting she might be exaggerating. Amanda also recalled correcting a teacher who made what she felt was a historically inaccurate statement.
As the only Black student in the class, she interpreted the teacher's response as racist, which led to a parent-teacher meeting she perceived as unfair. Shannon disagreed with her perspective, noting that in his experience, students didn't challenge their teachers under any circumstances. He suggested the teacher's reaction might have stemmed from feeling disrespected rather than racism. While both viewpoints seemed valid, the interview continued smoothly after that awkward exchange. However, later on, fans criticized Shannon for minimizing Amanda's concerns. The controversies surrounding Shannon and his podcast underscore the complexities of navigating media and public perception, especially when discussing sensitive topics with high-profile guests. Amanda noted Shannon's judgmental tone despite his podcast's claim to be a non-judgmental space for guests. She concluded that while Shannon is cool, he may not be suited for these deep conversations. She suggested he focus on fun, lighthearted, and comedic interviews, emphasizing the importance of listening more and imposing personal views less.